It was a quiet winter evening in 2025 when Aarav, a 25-year-old graphic designer, returned home from work to the old house he shared with his mother, Meera. She was 50, graceful, elegant, with eyes that held stories from lifetimes past. Despite her age, there was a youthful glow in her skin and a strange warmth in the way she looked at him. After his father died young, it was just the two of them, and over time, their bond had grown deeper, more complex, filled with unspoken emotions. That night, as rain tapped against the windows, Aarav found Meera in the kitchen, wearing a soft silk robe, her long hair falling over her shoulders. She poured wine for both of them, something they rarely did. They talked, laughed, remembered old memories. But beneath every word was a thick silence, a tension neither of them wanted to name. "I still remember the way you looked at me when you were a boy," Meera whispered. "Like I was your whole world." "You still are," he said, unable to stop his voice from trembling. She looked at him, and the silence broke. That night, emotion overpowered reason. In the Camelot room, they shared something forbidden, something wrapped in passion and longing. The kiss was soft, desperate. A storm that had waited years finally broke. Their bodies met like they were destined to, like something greater had pulled them together, beyond rules and beyond guilt. But then came the twist. The next morning, Aarav woke up alone. Meera was gone. No note, no trace, nothing. Days passed. He searched everywhere. But it was as if she had never existed. Then, one night, he found an old box in the attic with documents he'd never seen before. Birth certificates, photos, letters. One envelope was marked, "For Aarav, when the truth must be known." Inside was a letter in her handwriting. "My dearest Aarav, I am not your real mother. I found you as a baby, abandoned in the hospital where I worked. I couldn't leave you. I raised you as my own, loved you like no one ever could. But I never told you the truth because I was afraid of losing you, or of the feelings that had started to grow in my heart. I know now what we shared wasn't wrong. It was fate." Aarav dropped the letter, his heart pounding. She wasn't his mother. She had never been. But where had she gone? That's when he found the second envelope, just a single word written on it. Paris. And with that, a new journey began. To find her. To find the love that was real and never truly forbidden. Paris in winter was a city made for love. Foggy mornings, golden evenings, and the kind of silence that carried whispers from the past. Aarav stood beneath the Eiffel Tower, the cold wind brushing against his face as he clutched the letter Meera had left behind. Her handwriting, her words, still lived in his mind like a fire that wouldn't go out. For days, he searched old hotels, clinics, even artists' cafes, asking for a woman in her 50s with long black hair, eyes full of sorrow, and a smile that could warm the dead. Most people shook their heads. Until one evening, in a quiet bookstore near Montmartre, an old man pointed to a photo on the wall. "That woman," the man said. "She comes here sometimes. Leaves letters in the red book on the third shelf." Aarav's fingers trembled as he found the book. Inside was a folded page, her handwriting again. "If you found this, it means you still care. I'm not hiding. I'm waiting. On the bridge where love first feels like flight." Midnight. That night, under a cloudy sky, Aarav waited on the Pont d'Arts bridge. And there she was, Meera, wrapped in a long coat, looking both timeless and fragile. The wind played with her hair as she stepped toward him. "I didn't think you'd come," she said softly. "I never stopped looking." There was silence between them, until it broke with a kiss. This time, it was not desperate. It was pure, deep, filled with a lifetime of aching love. The world fell away around them. Time didn't exist. Only the two of them, bound by something deeper than blood, stronger than memory. "I'm afraid," she whispered against his lips. "The world won't understand." "Let the world burn," he said, holding her face. "All I want is you." They spent that night in a small hotel room lit by a fireplace, bodies and souls tangled in ways words could never describe. For the first time, it felt like home. But when Aarav woke up the next morning, Meera was gone again. Except this time, she had left behind one final clue. A necklace on the pillow with a locket. Inside was a picture not of Aarav as a baby, but of another man and Meera and a child that looked nothing like him. Attached was a note. You must find the truth. My name was never Meera, and your real mother is still alive. Aarav stared at the locket, his hands shaking. The woman in the photo was Meera, no doubt. But next to her was a man he'd never seen, and the child wasn't him. The name scrawled on the back of the photo sent a chill down his spine. Layla and Rayhan, 1999. For our son, Arman. Arman? Who was Arman? Who was he? Determined to uncover the truth, Aarav returned to the bookstore in Montmartre. The old man behind the counter looked at the locket and stiffened. You've come far, he muttered. But you need to go farther. He handed Aarav a worn journal with pages in Meera's, or rather, Layla's, handwriting. The entries were dated over 25 years. They told a secret life. A woman torn between two worlds, her love for a man named Rayhan, and a painful decision that forced her to disappear from her old life completely. The final pages held the truth Aarav was never prepared for. Rayhan and I had a child, Arman. But he was taken from me after an accident. I was told he had died, but I found out later he was alive. Adopted. Given a new name. Aarav. You are Arman. You are my son. Aarav collapsed to the floor, breathless. The kiss, the night they shared, the intimacy, they weren't forbidden by society alone. They were forbidden by blood. It wasn't passion. It was tragedy. But then, a final letter fell from the journal. Meera, Layla, had written it only days earlier. I didn't know the truth until it was too late. I only followed what my heart felt. And it led me to you. I know what we shared cannot be erased, but it was born from love, not sin. I only ask for your forgiveness. And if your heart still has space for me, I'll be waiting. One last time. Under the cherry blossoms in Kyoto. Aarav burned with 1,000 emotions, shock, anger, sorrow, and something deeper. Something no name could fully capture. What they had was wrong, but it was real. Now he stood at another crossroad. Would he chase her again? Or leave behind the past that had rewritten his future? The next morning, a plane left for Kyoto. And seat 23A was not empty.